Finally, what happens is physics becomes the mother science.
So far, it was largely the philosophers who studied human consciousness, but a serious effort to understand consciousness and walk the path towards ultimate reality was made at the MIT World Peace University in the form of the world's first conference on consciousness, the ultimate reality.
Bhakti jnana virakti bodha sarita yasyannana nisrita shishantah karanam karoti vimalam chadhyatma tattvaspadam yoga rudhamatis samasta jagato bandhur viluptai shanaha tattvajnana parayanaya gurave ramaya tasmai namaha. At the outset, I thank the revered organizers, the participants, and you listeners for giving me this opportunity. The subject that has been given to me would need fairly a long discussion, but due to time constraints, I will limit myself to the broad features of various points that I want to tell you. Science is a probe in reality, really. But science studies only the world that is seen by us through our senses of perception. And somehow or other, this method may not necessarily take you to reality, because this doesn't have self in it. And the whole creation that we see is really not only the perceived world, but ourselves. And in the East, the attempt to fathom reality it actually started with, say, for example, Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Kim Brahma kutasma jata jivamakena kvachasam pratishtha adhishtitahas kena sukhe tareshu vartamahe brahmavido vyavastham. It starts with saying that who am I? Why do I live when death is certain? What is my destination? And why do I undergo life, pleasure, happiness and misery? And they request those who know Brahman, please tell us what all this gambit is. So that's the difference. The West effort is essentially reductionist. They are realists. They believe that the world that you see or perceive is real. Why real? I will come to that little later and explain you. And why do they say that? And the approach to find out all this world, they go with the system of reductionism. Reductionism is either put it into parts and study all the parts and then try to come to whole, or you can reduce, like iron ore is reduced to iron. That is also called reduction. That means molecular biology. Genetics can be reduced to molecular biology. Molecular biology can be reduced to microbiology. Microbiology can be reduced to biology. Biology can be reduced to chemistry. Chemistry can be reduced to physics. Finally, what happens is physics becomes the mother science. And in my discussion about science, I am going to concentrate only on mother science, physics, and two more parts of our present sciences, biogenesis and computer science or artificial intelligence. The reason is that biogenesis and artificial intelligence, they deal with consciousness. Now, let me tell you about consciousness. Unfortunately, in English, there is no equal word for Atman or Brahman. There is no equal word. we are only trying to use the word consciousness because it goes nearer to the concept of Atman. Why so? Because consciousness has a reference to conscious, unconscious, aware, unaware, those stages. But it is the Atman itself makes you conscious or unaware or unconscious. It is Atman itself makes you aware or unaware. In a marriage hall, there's so much of talk there, but if you want to listen to your friend's talk, how do you do that? Consciousness, your Atman tells you and makes you conscious only about that. That's the thing. So, unfortunately, there are many untranslatables in English. Like, for example, Shraddha. Shraddha, there is no word in English. There is only belief and faith. Anyway, so that's the background. And unfortunately, what has happened is that the West, the prerogative of science is Occidental, and the prerogative of the Adhyatma or study of Vedanta and all that is supposed to be of the Orient. So I would now, with this introduction, but what has happened is that our belief, strong belief in material realism has landed us into umpteen number of problems. Some of them is global warming, you can say pollution, you can say trading basic needs of human beings, or you can say erosion of morality, this Atankavad, what we call it as, or even last, I would say, how do you sort of look at your life. It is all totally influenced by material realism.